Hello, friends and fellow board gamers. Welcome back to another episode of Board Games with Rob. In this video, I'm going to be giving a little bit of a teach slash overview of a game that I recently got to the table, but one that's been out for a couple of years. And that is Neotopia, published here in the States by Arcane Wonders and designed by Orlando Sa and Andre Santos. Now, like I said, it's been out for a couple of years, and I remember seeing it at Gen Con a couple of years ago, back in, I think, 2023. It had a really neat presence, and I knew I wanted to get it played, but it's something that's been sitting on the shelf for a while, and one that I got to the table recently, and I'm glad I did. Now, I will give you a little bit of my thoughts on the game after I've explained it and showed you how it plays. So let's go down to the table, and I will show you what it looks like set up. All right, I've got the game set up for 3 players here, and it does play up to 4 players, and each player will have their own card and a token used to track the amount of actions that they've taken. Each player can take 3 different actions of a possible 2 types of actions that they can take on their turn. What do I mean by that? Well, there's really 2 different things that they can do on their turn, and that's either draw a card, and there'll be 4 cards laid out, or you can draw from the top of the deck, or you can place an element token out from these factories that you've got set up. Those are the 2 different types of actions, of which you can take 3. So you could draw 3 cards, or you could place 3 elements out onto the board. It's really that simple. Now, there's a variety of different free actions you can take, which come from playing bonus tokens that you can get, and I'll explain how you get those here in a minute, as well as completing a card that at any time that you can fulfill a card, then you can play that card down to that region. What do I mean by that? So let's talk about the setup of the game. Each of these factories, 3 factories, will start out with each one of the 4 different types of elements in them, and then you'll have these generators. They are called production tiles, stacked up. Once you've completed or gone through all the production tiles in that stack, that will trigger the end of the game. You'll complete the round and then have one final round, and then the person with the most victory points will win. So how do you get points? Well, that's kind of neat. Like I said, you will place tokens up to 3 on a turn into a specific region. The only stipulation is they have to either start in the center if there are no tokens in there, or have to touch an existing element in that region. So, for example, let's say that I maybe had this card in my hand, and maybe I'm playing to this region. So maybe for one turn, I might put out a token. Oh, let's say, and they do have to touch. So let's say that I put a token here from there, and I place this for my second action, and for my third action, I took that tile there. Well, that completes this card, so I would place that card face up in that particular region. I've now completed it, and I would score 4 points in that particular region. So I would move, let's say that I was the blue player, I would move my token up 4, and I've now scored 4 points in that region. You're going to be placing these element tiles into any one of the 3 regions, and there's a score track in each of the regions for that particular one. Now, if I happen to ever move my place an element token on any one of these 4 bonus tokens, I would take that, as well as if I ever pass this score point, this one or this one, then I would draw a bonus tile from the supply of that region. Each region has a stack of 4 tiles in them, and once they're depleted, they're gone. So it's really that simple. And then another action I could take would be drawing a card, again, from either the deck or from any one of the 4 cards. The cards are not replenished until after your turn, and then you'll draw them up to 4. Now, one of the neat mechanisms of the game, or ways of playing, or restrictions on the game, are these particular cards. If you notice, there's a bunch of different backings on these cards. Backgrounds is what I mean. So, for example, these 2 cards here, they have the same background. Now, you notice they've got different elements that would need to be satisfied in different points, but the background's the same. Why that matters is if I have a particular card that has been scored in a region, and I want to complete another card, you can't ever place a card with the same background on top of another card of that background. So it limits where you can play cards within the regions, and that presents a kind of neat dilemma that I experienced quite a number of times as playing this game. I might want to play a particular arrangement of elements in a region, but I know that there is a card in there that matches. So I need to wait and either wait for a opponent to play a card and satisfy a particular element arrangement in that region, or I need to play a different card within that region to satisfy that. So you'll just simply keep playing these out. Now, another thing that'll happen is as you place tokens in a region, and if a factory ever has 0 tokens, then you will take the 4 from the top of the production tile, fill that region. You'll then look at the back of the production tile and fill the next production tile with those colors. So in this particular case, I would do a blue. It's one of every, so I would take a blue, a red, a pink, and a green. I would discard this, and then I'd be set up for once another factory loses all of its tokens. And again, then I would take from the top of the production stack, put it onto that factory, remove that tile, and you'll keep going through these until you get to the very bottom one, which will then be a flag, which I have put here. You'll put this tile on the bottom. And then once this has been filled, then that triggers, like I said, the end of the round. And then everybody will take one more round and then it'll end. You'll go through scoring. Now, scoring is a little unique in here as well. You will take your scores of each region that you had your token in. And so let's say that I had my tokens here, and then let's say that as the blue player, I'm just going to fictitiously put something out here, like an arrangement of tiles. Um, you will then look at each region and look for the largest contiguous area of your color. So if I'm blue player, then here I would have a region of 3. Here I'd have a region of 3. Here I'd only have a region of 2. And then I would score those in each of the regions on top of the amount of points I had. And then whatever of the 3 regions has the lowest amount of points, I would triple that score. And then I would just add those 3 scores together. The person with the most points wins. There is another slight scoring mechanism, and that's any of these bonus tokens that you've gotten that you have not used are worth 3 points as well. So what do I think about the game? Well, it's got a lot of good things going for it. It's got a beautiful presence. Once those cities start building up and these colorful tiles or element tiles are put out, element tokens, it looks gorgeous out on the board. The components are really good quality. These tokens, like I mentioned, are really thick plastic of really good quality. The production tiles are really thick cardboard. They're not flimsy. The cards, yeah, they're okay. They're not linen finished, which is, that doesn't need to be the case in all of my games. They're good quality. I mean, they're not bad by any means. And the artwork, I think, is phenomenal. The artist is Tiago Lobo Pimentel. Pimentel. I hope I'm pronouncing that well. And myself and other players that I've played with have commented about the artwork on these cards, and the backgrounds are just, they really look nice. And yeah, I don't yeah, really nice card artwork. The board art, the artwork of the 3 regions is really good. I like that. The gameplay. Um, the gameplay is unique and presents some really neat challenges to you. It's really simple. You're not going to you're going to learn the game in 5-10 minutes. 10 minutes is pushing it. You're simply taking one of 2 different types of actions and you're doing it 3 times. You're either drawing a card or you're placing a tile out. And it presents you with some unique dichotomies of selection. you know what you've got to play, and so you're getting this tense moment when other players are putting out. You're like, oh man, are they going to ruin what I'm trying for? And if they do, then it's like, oh well, crud. I got to look at using a different card. You have to also look at the uh, the cards that are out there in those regions, and am I working towards a card that mirrors the top card in that region? And then maybe I need to work towards something else or gather another card. Another thing that you wouldn't think is important, but it definitely is by the end of the game, are those regions, the largest regions of contiguous tokens of your color in a region. So you need to be planning for that and making sure that the cards you're picking are matching your color and not an opponent's. And there are some of these cards, like this one, for example, if you can see there on the side, it scores either 2 or 4 points. And that is determined by whether or not that color is yours or an opponent's. If it's your color, then you only score 2 points. But if it's the opponent's, it's 4. So these cards are encouraging you with points to play your opponent's colors. But at the end of the game, you want to have, a very large contiguous area of your color in there. So you're fighting competing priorities there. Another thing that is really neat is you want to be able to score in each of the 3 regions, because your lowest scoring region is going to be a multiplier. You're going to score it times 3. So having a presence in all 3 of the areas is really important so that you don't waste that multiplier. I would rate this a 7.5 out of 10. It's one that I will definitely play if somebody's bringing it out. It's one that I enjoy playing. It's one that's very quick, very easy to teach, very easy to learn, but yet provides so many different strategies and thinking points it's one of those simple yet complex type games. It's very simple. The actions are simple, but yet all the different ways that you'll score, which aren't a lot, but yet there it is, right? You want to, by that I mean you want to make sure that you're scoring in each of the 3 regions, that you're making these big groupings, and that you're not setting up your opponent. So that's Neotopia. I hope that this video was informative, that it's helped you decide whether or not it's a game that you'd like to have in your collection, or if you see it in your friend's collection, maybe you want to encourage them to get it out and play it. I guarantee you'll have a good time, and you'll have a good time playing it, and you'll enjoy it, and it'll look good out on the board at the end of the game. Yes, that's Neotopia. Friends, if you like this video, please consider subscribing it or liking. Leave me some feedback in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed it. What were some of the fun moments you experienced as playing it, and some of the strategies that you noticed during your time playing it. More importantly, friends, have fun gaming and treat each other well.